Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today with Mayi de Vega, one of my longtime friends and someone I have always admired and looked up to in the industry. Mayi's here today to talk about a really interesting topic for me and something I think everybody will be excited to dive into. But before we get into the details, Mayi, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, Nicole. Good morning. Thank you for this invitation. I also admire you. I met you, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, and went up to Boston and just felt your energy, your passion, your commitment. And I was like, okay, this girl's a superstar. So thank you for inviting me to do this podcast with you. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Mayi de Vega. I'm the founder and CEO of One Sotheby's International Realty, and we are the luxury leaders along Florida's East Coast. We have about 28 offices, 1,400 agents, and we've had tremendous organic growth within the company, and we're very proud of all our accomplishments. We also have a development division and represent some of the finest developments in South Florida, like the St. Regis, the Village at Coral Gables, Pier 66 in Fort Lauderdale, and many, many more. So again, thank you, Nicole, for having me here today.
Thank you. Yes, it's been fun to watch. So with all of that, I think we'll get a little bit deeper into your background. But the reason that I wanted to talk with Mayi today is I know it's been kind of front of mind for me and a little bit of front of mind topic lately is just that I'm a new mom. And I know I said when I first had a baby, I felt like connected to all the moms in my life that I didn't realize the world that you lived in, if you will, until basically I brought my baby home and was like, oh my gosh. And you're someone, Mayi, who I've always admired as a mother. I know you work with have worked with both of your children, but in particular work with your son, Daniel, a good friend of mine as well. And obviously we're in that situation. So I really just wanted to talk about all of your success in the business, the backstory as to how you got into real estate. But we wanted to talk through just like being a mother in this industry with all that you've accomplished and how you're balancing both of those. But could you give us a little bit of a backstory, how you landed in real estate in the first place?
You know, it was fate. It was meant to be because I had worked with my father in the aerospace industry, and that company was sold. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to take a break and I'm not going to really work for a while. And my kids were young at the time. They must have been, I don't know, 7 and 10. And I just really kind of wanted to just be a stay-at-home mom for a while. And so I that didn't last very long because I have a type A personality. And so I was immediately started inventing things to do. And I started looking into, what can I do that has flexibility? I started trading stocks on my own. I did like the Berenstein Bear ladies that did a club for investing. I did that. And then I thought, well, gee, this is kind of lonely and I'm really a people person. What could I do? And so I had my license from years ago because I had always referred business to other people. And while working with my father, it was another way of getting an income. So I thought, you know what, let me give this a stab. I have a great network. I know a lot of people in town, and I think it's something that is going to give me the flexibility that I need to still be a great mom, attend their games, do what I need to do, but at the same time, sell real estate and have fun and meet people and look at beautiful architecture. And that's how it all started. And of course, type A personality. I became a top producing agent at 2 of the firms that I worked with. And then the Sotheby's opportunity came along and that was it. It was like full head on after that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I believe you're the first Cuban woman to own and operate a Sotheby's franchise, which is amazing. How did the Sotheby's name or network brand, just how did that opportunity arise?
I'm very down to earth and I'm a very hardworking individual, but I love brands and I love how they position these brands. And I'm always in awe of what marketing does to benefit the brand, and that positioning of the brand is really important to the consumer. So for me, it was extremely interesting to see how I always associated Sotheby's International Realty with art. I love art. I collect art. And I was a young collector at the time. So I was always in awe of the, all of their auctions, from the, jewels to the wines, to the watches, to the cars, to the art. And so to me, it was the premier luxury brand of real estate. And I remember, before I got the brand, they awarded the brand to someone in South Florida. I wasn't up for it, but this person lost the brand. And I remember at that moment thinking, what do I have to do to be able to get this brand and represent Sotheby's International Realty in South Florida? So it started in South Florida, and then we grew up the coast, but always in awe of the brand, its positioning. And early on, I just knew that there was a need for this brand, for a global brand in our local market, because South Florida was growing. It became a very international city. Art Basel launched a lot of the, all of the advances that we had in the arts and entertainment and the restaurant business, food and dining. So for me, I think I was always in love with the Sotheby's International Realty brand.
I love that. And so through this path, obviously you mentioned at the beginning, you had young children when you started. Do you have any tips of how you balanced the two while you have been growing? And
it's a daily struggle. I'm not going to say that there's a magic formula. I think that first, we need to take a look at ourselves, and we need to try to be as balanced as we can with our inner selves. We need to look at our soul and what we really want out of life. And we need to understand that everything in life is a give and take. So if you're in a calm space and you understand that, there's only so many hours in a day, and you have this mindset that you're going to allocate time for yourself, because number one, I think it's okay to allocate time for yourself every day, because you're going to be a better mom, a better employee, a better owner, a better worker, like whatever profession you're in, you're going to do better if you're okay inside. So I think being centered and doing a lot of self-work to really build your own, you could say self-esteem, but I think it's even more than self-esteem. It's really having the confidence to know that you can do it. You are able to juggle, and it's hard at times, and you feel the pressure, and you feel that, I remember being at, Daniel's, baseball games, and I didn't want to miss them. And I was there, and I'd run in, and I'd have that phone with me, and I'd be pacing, walking up and down and trying to look if he was up to bat or somebody made a run. But, maybe it wasn't that I was sitting there, 100% concentrated on the game, but I was there, and I was part of it, and I would drive them around to find like the best coaches. Same thing with Alina. She played soccer, and so I tried to be there. I tried to make sure that I was there for them during that time. So I think what I love about our business is that you can allocate that time, because nobody's like watching over you. So you're able to say, okay, I'm going to wake up earlier today, or I'm going to work late to catch up and, finish all my emails. And then this time I have one advice that I do have, which is a really important advice, is when you pick up your kids from school, or you come walk in that door, put your phone down for a little while. Make sure you just give them your full attention, even if it's 30 minutes before you pick up that phone again, because I think that it stresses us in a way when we're trying to, everything's okay, and the baby's crying, or you're trying to, change somebody, and then you've got your ear pods on, and you're trying to, the baby's crying, you're trying to do three things at the same time. So I think having that pause and meditation, yoga, exercise in general, that you allow yourself each day some time for that, I think is great. Plus it's good for longevity too.
Sure. No, I love that. And I think that's something that I've kind of learned the hard way the first year of having a baby is trying to be like, well, I need to be with them constantly, but I also have a more than full-time job, right? And there's only so much you can do. If I'm not present with everyone I'm with, everyone else is suffering. So like if I'm not present with the baby, then because I'm like, I need to give to this client or this colleague or agent because they deserve every bit of me at all times. Nobody gets all of it at all times. So exactly. I think that makes me feel better framing it that way. Like there will be a time. It's funny. I have my second on the way, which is when I had reached out. And I've read a little bit about like introducing a second child. And like one of the big things that they say is, obviously at the beginning, you might be occupied with the baby and have to tell your toddler, like, I'm giving them my full attention right now, but in 5 minutes, you will have my full attention. And that's something simple. And toddlers teach you a lot because that's what they need to hear and know. And it's like, you just basically said what I feel like is a recent sort of realization for me is that's how I feel, like not to like patronize, but I need to treat everyone in my life. It's like, when I'm with you, I will be fully with you, but I can't be fully with you. And like, so then if I'm available to you all the time, that means I'm available to everybody else when I should be fully with you. Right. So it's a simple equation. It's boundaries that we all really struggle with, but I don't think it's possible to go without that at this point.
Absolutely. And, you said one of my favorite words, and that's boundaries. And it took me a really long time because our industry is instant gratification and we want to make everybody happy. Mm-hmm. It's my nature as a human being to try to please everybody. So we've got to have boundaries in our life. We've got to have boundaries with our children, with our spouses, with our friends. We've got to have boundaries. We have to even impose boundaries on ourselves and into what we're doing each day. So those boundaries really allow you to start understanding yourself better and what you need. Because I think that's a really important conversation because I know you're passionate about your job, but you're a first-time mom and you're passionate. There's nothing better than being with that baby. Right. So you feel torn. You feel like, okay, now what? So that's when I talk about doing the work and going within and understanding that first something does have to give, and definitely shouldn't be you're already sleep deprived from trying to take care of a toddler. So how do you balance all that and those boundaries that you have to set in place, even more so now in work? Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, life goes on. And at the end of the day, this person this agent that's going to leave your company, this client that's complaining because something, it can all wait. We are not brain surgeons. We don't have somebody at the table that we're operating on that can't wait another second. So if we put those boundaries and we understand what we're willing to tolerate and what we're willing to do, then you're able to cope with all the things that get thrown at you every day, which is a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I know this timing was really great because yesterday was International Women's Day, which is just, you see it all online, but it just makes you stop and think. And that's why I was excited to do that this week, because I've always really admired you. And I'm curious what you think, if you can answer what you think women should look out for in this industry as someone that has come so far that maybe aren't like challenges that are specific to women, that you could like speak to that somebody should be looking out for, and maybe ways to avoid the challenge or get through it a little bit easier.
Sure. I think we're all different and we're wired different. We grew up differently. We have different expectations of life, of everything, of what we want out of life. So I think that, as I look at my own life, my own struggles have been really to try to balance being a great mom, a great sister, a great, a partner, to your spouse. Like you're always trying to figure out how to do better. And, that's constant work. You're constantly trying to improve. You're constantly trying to. So I think that specifically in this business, I think those setting boundaries for yourself, understanding your priorities, allowing yourself to not be okay one day and understand that tomorrow the sun's going to rise at the same time tomorrow, and you have a new opportunity. Every day is a new opportunity to write a new chapter in your life. Mm-hmm. And every day you've got to look within and you've got to say, okay, I kind of look at the day, like the previous day, and I kind of ask myself, first, I practice gratitude every day. So I'm grateful for so much. So every day I ask myself, what am I grateful for? What was I grateful for today? And then I say, okay, and what could I have done better? Or what could I have handled better? Or how would I have been more effective in communicating with this person? And that sometimes takes the time to stop and not be reactive all the time. Our industry tends to be reactive all the time. So you're running late to an appointment, and you're running late to a Zoom, or you're not fully prepared for the Zoom because you were up all night with your baby, or you're trying to wing it in a way all the time. You're trying to be all things to all people. So I think that resetting of, yourself, of understanding that you do have limitations. And, yesterday was International Women's Day, and I'm so proud of, and I was, I wrote about how the strength that as women, we all, whatever way you show that strength, we're strong, we're resilient. And we've come so far, from being able to vote, being, just having a presence, and our voices are heard now, and they matter. And I just believe that, women are not the only one that face challenges, because I know that for a fact that we tend to think it's women, and it's, great. It was International Women's Day, and we celebrated all the women at one Sotheby's, and, celebrated the women in the world for all of but if you think about it and you take a step back, because I look at, my son, I look at, his responsibilities. Men want to be good fathers too. They're trying to balance being with their children, going to their baseball games, a meeting, and somehow it's expected, if it's baseball, that the dad's going to be there more so than the mom. So I think it's just life. It's just the way that the society, that we're in, because I also believe that men have challenges as well in terms of, they're trying to, make their wife happy. They're trying to be a part of the household. They're trying to be attentive to the child or be a part of that child's life. So some dads that have to be traveling all the time or on a plane, or, I'm sure they suffer too. And they're trying to find that balance. So I think as a whole, as people, as individuals, we all truly are trying to find our way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
And so I think in our business, we're lucky because we do have some flexibility. Mm-hmm. And you have to be, you can be very organized and highly productive and highly successful, and still make time for the family, for the children, for yourself. And know that sometimes it's not going to be okay, that sometimes you're going to feel a little overwhelmed, with the day, but it is a great business to be in, because we get to meet incredible people. We get to look at beautiful homes and beautiful architecture. We get to be part of this incredible network that Sotheby's International Realty brings, and where you make friends that become like family to you, and that you are so connected to, and that that you can rely upon. So it's truly a blessing to be in some way or form, whether you're an agent or an owner or the founder or the CEO or the chief operating officer or the chief financial officer of a company. It's still, it's a great business to be in.
It is. I have to ask, what are you most excited about right now in the real estate industry for what's ahead?
I think that what I'm most excited about is in the luxury space. I truly believe there was a time there that there was so much importance given to, are we going to play a role? What is our role going to be long term? And I'm just excited to see that from all the studies that I've read and all the things that I've been exposed to, that in the luxury space, there will always be room and space for an agent. Our roles may change somewhat. We're lucky to be advisors, and as advisors, we basically are not only looking at one transaction, but we're looking at the entirety of that person's portfolio or what it is that they want to do. And so that we can properly advise them as to their best investments in real estate and so forth. So I believe that for us as a company, we just got onto this amazing platform, which allows our agents to have a single sign-on. Before we'd go on the back end of the website, and there was like different sign-ons for every different platform that we had, and it was like, how do you remember all these passwords? So now we have one single sign-on for it. I believe that social media has definitely made an impact. So I'm excited to see what's to come and how we can benefit more and more from having a strong presence in social media. And the collaboration within our entire network, I think, is unique. I think our strengths in each market are really incredible, and how we help each other and rely on each other. So I'm excited about the future still of real estate.
I love that. I am too. And to oversimplify, I feel like it's kind of what you were alluding to, is I'm really just excited for the opportunities that are coming. I think talking to anyone who's, done well, there's always been that if you listen to their story, there's just like your story that you were so kind to share today, there's always adversity, there's always setbacks. And I think the market that we're in right now is one that's going to provide so much opportunity for people that are really going to bear down, because there's just going to be a lot of changes, and change is good. So I think it's really exciting.
Absolutely. The other day we were running an office meeting, and I said to the agents, because, we've lived through down markets and, okay markets and up markets, and we've seen it all. And I was saying, are you all in? And I think for anything that we do in life, we got to be all in. And I love that, that phrase that, if you're going to sell real estate, you're going to try to be the most informed, the best agent that is out there. Mm-hmm. Read, be part of groups, understand the importance of networking. And I think that that's very important.
I love that. Thank you so much. I feel like we covered a lot today. And I was looking over kind of my notes as I was taking as you were talking. And I think it's amazing what you've accomplished. It's amazing from a young mother to look and say, okay, like, I think I can do this too. You know what I mean? There is a balance someday. I've definitely learned quickly that everything is temporary, and, you get through those tough moments, but just accepting the imperfection, I feel like, is a big piece of what you were saying today.
It's a big piece. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. And I think that parenting in a way could be used as a superpower, right? Like that could really be used in your business to your advantage. It really teaches you to juggle, to balance, to not get knocked down and not get back up. And I think that definitely has had an impact, I feel, on your story as a mother and as a business owner. So I'm so grateful for your time today. Can you share how people can find you or follow you, if you don't mind?
Oh, thank you. Of course. So my Instagram is my name, which is Mayi de la Vega. And I made it easy for everybody to just, find me. And they can always call me. I'm always open. I love talking to people. I love helping people. I love sharing, any bits of information, because I think collectively, the more we share, the more we give, the more that we grow. And, it's all about giving, because giving and growth are just go hand in hand. So you can always call my cell or send me a text or an email. And my cell is 305-790-6294. And happy to talk to anybody that wants to chat on this subject, or any subject really, to share humbly what I've gone through and what it's taught me. So happy to be a part of. And thank you, Nicole. I really enjoyed this. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your entire family, your mom, your dad, and what a great job you've done. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll share your information in the show notes here. And I'll be so excited to see you soon. I think I'll see you next month.
Yes, I'll see you for sure. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Mayi.